Quick show and tell of the bits that I got from Rosehip today when we were down there. One of the new items that I've never tried before is the apple blackcurrant and lavender jam. This just looks, or sounds I should say, lovely, and I do like to try different types of jams. Picked up 2 of the honeys, a small jar and a big jar, just because this was the last jar of the big ones, and we do go through it in this household, so I picked up a smaller one as well, just while I could, basically. 2 of the cordials, 1 blackcurrant and 1 apple, blueberry and hibiscus. You can see these go down really well in this household. We actually have already started this one off, so yeah, the cordials are a staple in this household and a firm favourite. Another firm favourite is the apple and ginger shot. So previously, when my morning would have been started off with a coffee, it is now generally started off with one of these apple and ginger shots. So I do try to keep these in the fridge where possible. Welcome back to the vlog and another long weekend locally here. I'm a little bit, probably about a week behind on my videos. So the last one that you would have seen would have been maybe 2 weekends prior, so still quite relevant, but slight delay on when I wanted to get it out. So I didn't do much talking to the camera, and the footage you would have seen before this was from last weekend. I finally got a chance to visit the raspberry fields in Forfar, and of course they didn't disappoint. They had lots of lovely Christmas bits in there. Actually learned while I was there that I need to change arms. This is actually really achy. Let me get this right. It has over 70 different Scottish makers which supply the stock in that shop, which I just think is really cool. So everything in there comes from, maybe not entirely local to Angus, but definitely all small Scottish businesses in there, which I thought was really cool. and just a fantastic concept. So I picked up a few bits when I was in there. I didn't go mad. I just picked up a few little bits. You would have seen in that, if you recognise from some of my previous videos, that some of my favourite local producers are also stocked in there. One of them is, I think it's Chocolatia or Chocolatia. Anyway, I will show the packaging so you'll get the name spelt correctly at least, which is a local chocolatier, I think is how you pronounce it, to Angus, who does really beautiful chocolates, all hand done, handmade, and just a quality product basically. One that I discovered probably in the last year maybe, but has quickly become quite a firm favourite. So I picked up a few of those bits. I'll show you some other bits and bobs that I got there. Like I said, not an awful lot because I do plan on going back. There is one particular Christmas tree decoration that I spotted on the way out that I didn't get, but I think would look really nice with some of the bits that I already got. There's a brand in there that does sort of like hand pressed, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, and one of my favourite things that I always kind of eye up when I'm in there is from the same brand. It's like a little trinket dish, but even in the shape of a shell or a covered shell. I'm not entirely 100% sure. It's really beautiful, and I know that it's handmade and locally made. And a lot of the time, and sometimes they do have like William Morris printed items, which is it's just beautiful. But they have, I think it's the same maker anyway because of the style, but they have Christmas tree decorations that are done in the same way, and they are like little nutcrackers, which I think would look really nice. And again, it comes back to what I was saying before about classic decorations that would serve you time and time again. I feel like I didn't explain any of that very well. It's always better when you film the talking bits closer to when you've been to somewhere, because you remember a lot more of the information. But it just didn't work out that way for me this time because I ended up pulling out my neck last week, so that's why the talking bit is delayed, because holding the camera was just wasn't possible. Anyway, and then on the Sunday I went to a local makers festival, I think they were calling it, at another local estate to here, but much more local to Kerrymuir, which is Canody Estate. So they're not always open to the public, but sometimes they do the odd events there, generally makers festivals in the studio that they've got there. I was really gutted because they had house tours, but I totally somehow missed that and didn't get a chance to book. But I did go along to the makers festival, and there were some really, really beautiful pieces there. Some some makers that I'm more familiar with. Or have seen in different places, and some that were completely new to me. And actually it was one that was a new discovery that I actually purchased something from. Again, some Christmas decorations. I just think that that's, if I'm going to add anything to Christmas decoration collections, that looks like it's dusty. It's actually not. It's the reflection of the light on there. Anyway, I just caught that in the corner of my eye. So I just think if I'm gonna add to my Christmas collection things that are handmade and unique and but still classic, I think that's the way that I want to go, because like I said, I think I already have a good base already for Christmas decorations. So I just want to add really kind of special, unique things to that collection. So I will show you those as well, and I will pop the name of the maker on the screen because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But she had some other items there which were kind of shell inspired. So there were some bowls and some vases and things like that, which were absolutely beautiful. But of course, you know, you can't buy everything that you like. But I definitely, you know, admired her work. And as I was walking around, I didn't realise that those bowls and vases were from the same maker. It just happened that I was most drawn to the decorations and I was most drawn to those pieces, and they just happened to be from the same person. So this is one of the chocolates. There's the name and the spelling, so it is Chocolatia, I think is how you pronounce it. And this is the coffee caramel bar, and also got the caramel biscuit bar, and you can just see there's a lot of kind of love and attention gone into those chocolates. There's lots of different other ones, so these I think are the filled bars, or yeah, I think that's what they're called. She has lots of different options, and I know that it is available to order online, but if you're local to Strawberry Fields, then that's a really good place to pick it up. Another really classic thing that I picked up was this nest of Christmas boxes with this sort of pine decoration on it. I think these are just really nice, and again, a reusable way to cover presents rather than having to wrap them. Paper that might not be able to be used again. I think this is a really nice way. You can just stack the items up on top of each other, and they've got quite a nice kind of solid base as well inside, so that protects the boxes from anything that you put in there. So as well as being like a wrapping for Christmas decorations, they also stack up nicely like that, so you can see it's sort of like that Russian doll-esque type thing where all the boxes fit inside each other, so really easy to kind of pack away after as well. And here's a little overview of the decorations that I got from the local ceramicist. So you can see they're really inspired by sort of local wildlife, local produce. So they're just really, really beautifully done. And I think actually very reasonably priced for things that have had so much love and attention gone into them. For some reason, the camera just doesn't want to focus on them here, but you can see a bit more detail on these ones. I think it's maybe the lighting that's making that difficult. So there you go, you can see ones with sort of like hollies on it. I really love the blue and white ones, but there is only a limited amount left. But I just think with the blues that's sort of incorporated in these other ones, I think they will still tie in nicely together. So yeah, just absolutely beautiful pieces, and you can see really staple sentimental items in terms of decoration. And behind me there, you might have been able to see my lovely, well, they're not really new pillows, but definitely new to the vlog. So these are some lovely cushions from Planters, always supporting local businesses, but I just thought these were absolutely beautiful. Really pretty, decorative, but still classic. I love the chicken ones, they're just really nice. And I think the colours in this obviously tie in with the blue and the floral of the headboard, which people who have been watching for a while will remember that this is just a covered bed, and then tie in with my picture above the bed, which is this George Stubbs, it's like stable boy feeding pumpkin or something like that. So yeah, not loads and loads went on last weekend, but I thought I would just update you on those couple of nice bits that I did. Today I'm going to be heading out to Carnoustie, have a potter around the high street there, and maybe Broughty Ferry, don't know, we'll see how the time goes. In terms of what I'm wearing, because some people are really interested in that kind of thing, I've got in a pair of Astrid and Mew hoop earrings, which were actually found secondhand, obviously sanitized, but they were unworn anyway. So these were secondhand. Got on an old pearl gold fine necklace on, and I also found this cardigan, Zara cardigan, those knitted kind of cropped jacket style cardigans that are in at the moment, but again really classic pieces even though they're in. This is definitely sort of like a currently coveted type item, and I found this again in a British Red Cross as part of the Zara dead stock, and I think originally these are like £35. In different shops they vary, and even in Zara I think some of them are £35, some of them go up to like £50-60. In the likes of Massimo Dutti they would be much more expensive. I found this one for either £12 or £13, so really good bargain, and as it was part of the Zara dead stock it means that it was brand new. So I'm just wearing that with a pair of black jeans. Don't know how well you can see that, it's not the best kind of setup for showing outfits in here, but you can see a few little kind of updates around the bedroom. Like I said, if you are
somebody who's been watching for a while. So lots has really gone on in this room, and I probably will provide an update at some point. But for today, anyway, that's not really what this vlog is about. So we are going to go along to Canusti as a little bit of a further afield high street to see what they've got going on. Back home now from a very strange trip to Canusti. We arrived at about 2:30, maybe even before that, was saying like 2:15. And just for context, today's a Saturday and obviously quite close to the festive season, but there were so many shops that were closed, so I'm not really sure why that is. But anyway, we did pop into Gather, which is such a fantastic food place there. I don't know if I want to use the word restaurant because it's more like a lunch place, I guess. But they do really good food, always having their sort of amazing salads. They often have like, well, that's my clock going off. They often have waffles in there, like seasonal waffles. That clock actually never chimes, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Yeah, waffles, really nice salads, frittatas, soups, things like that. So they have really, but it's always nicely done and always a little bit different. I need to change angles because my arm is actually hurting. So it's always done a little bit differently. So one of my favorite things to get in there is the waffle with avocado, halloumi and a poached egg on top. That's a staple whenever I go there. There will be clips anyway. It will do a lot more justice than me trying to describe what it is. But anyway, it's one of my favorite places to go and eat, not just in Canusti but in Angus in general. I like to go there whenever I'm in that area, which is not that often. But yeah, so somewhere well worth a visit. And then after that we went along to Pixie Sticks. So Pixie Sticks is quite, I want to say it's relatively well known. In there they have things like crystals and incense and sage and bits and bobs like that. So I always think that that's a really nice place to visit. I like to give that kind of thing as gift, especially things like crystals. I like to give them as gifts very often. I think that's, you know, what's a better gift to give to somebody than, you know, like a nice intention. Different crystals represent different things. So I think it's always a nice way to kind of show somebody, basically you're gifting somebody a positive intention that is relevant to them, if that makes sense. So I went in there and all I picked up was a bracelet. I like to wear that kind of bracelet on a day-to-day basis, but recently I broke one that I've had for quite some years. And then really the only place that we stopped in after that was the shop Haim, which is like a little, it's kind of like a gift shop, some home stuff, but more home stuff in terms of like chopping boards, mugs, plant pots and just other kind of gifty bits. Again, a really nice place to kind of go and visit if you're looking for a unique gift. And a bit like Raspberry Fields, they do a lot of locally made. When you're looking at the different labels that say who made what, it says where it's made from as well. And there was a lot of makers in there from Dundee, from Perth, from St Andrew, so not all that far away. So I just really like shops like that showcase local makers. I think it's really cool. And then that was pretty much it before we headed home. Tomorrow what I'm planning to do is go along to Rottle, which is out at Glen Clover, because they're having a makers market there. It will be, I think that's the last one before Christmas. I might well be wrong, but this weekend, so yeah, today and tomorrow, is an opportunity for a lot of stalls to go along and showcase what they've got on offer, which is lovely this time of year, especially for businesses which don't have premises. I always think that that's quite these markets are always a great way for them to showcase what they've got. And they have some good sort of food stalls that will be there as well. The plan is to just pop along there and see what's on offer, but also just to generally just to go out for a walk in the glens. Last week we had snow fall, and then today we've had a bit of rain, but it's been pretty nice actually earlier on in the day, and yesterday was quite nice as well. So it will be nice to get out there and go for a bit of a walk before basically the temperatures drop again, and it's not so nice to take a drive out there. So that's the plan for tomorrow. The rest of this evening, pretty much we are just going to we've got dinner ordered, which I'll be going to pick up in a moment, and just basically having a movie night for the rest of today, and that will pretty much be it. But my plan is actually, I'm thinking I might actually just end this vlog here. Tomorrow is the 1st of December. I would have loved to be able to say that I was planning to do, or would at least attempt to do Vlogmas this year, but in reality, I think if I tried to commit to that, I don't know how interesting every day will be. So I think what I'm just going to try to do is, which I'm doing anyway, but even just to build on that, is over December just to try to vlog a bit more and get my videos out, just to turn them out a bit quicker. Basically, I don't think every day is going to be realistic for me, because I do work a regular job, so during the day it's not going to be that interesting to film, really. I mentioned before that I've booked the reef making workshop, so that will be coming up soon. And I also want to go to the local panto and see that this year. It's one thing I've always had on my list, but I've actually never made it along. In Kerry this year we've got Rapunzel as our local panto show, and in Forfar I think they've got Snow White. So I'm going to try to get tickets definitely to Rapunzel and have a look at, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Kerry one finishes before the Forfar, so I might try to get tickets for the Kerry one, and if possible, if it plays out well, then maybe try to go to the Forfar one as well, just to kind of support that, you know, that creative outlet. I really think that that's quite cool that we have these shows locally. But I will try to do a tweaked version of Vlogmas and see how that goes. So hence why I'm saying I'm going to end this video here and pick a new vlog back up tomorrow. What I would also like to do is, because it's a long weekend, I would also like to try to put together, like I mentioned in my previous video, some sort of pre-loved outfit options and try to make some of them a bit festive-y, because I think that's always nice to kind of have ideas. And like I said in my previous video, I think when you look at second-hand options, you more get inspiration than I have to go and buy that specific thing. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on anymore. I'm going to end the vlog here, and I shall see you again tomorrow.